Stuck in a desolate wasteland. Gonna reap what you sow. Laid to rest by my hand. I was a sacrifice, to a scornful king, a coward. You will pay the price, I return to end your life. I was a sacrifice, to a man, but I was exiled. You will pay the price, I return to end your life. Discovered, brought back to reality. Given purpose once again. Gonna find the ones responsible. Oh. So you'll say that you're nothing but a fool. Just keep pushing me, then I will end your run. I was a sacrifice, to a scornful king, a coward. You will pay the price, I return to end your life. I was a sacrifice, to a man, but I was exiled. You will pay the price, I return to end your life. Coming at you with all I have. No surrender, no surrender. Coming at you with all I have. No surrender, no surrender. I was a sacrifice, to a scornful king, a coward. You will pay the price, I return to end your life. I was a sacrifice, to a man, but I was exiled. You will pay the price, I return to end your life. I return to end your life. I return to end your life. I was a sacrifice, to a scornful king, a coward. You will pay the price, I return to end your life. I was a sacrifice, to a man, but I was.
Yo and hello, good evening everyone, and welcome to Minions of the Zoo. I am your keeper this evening, Delahazed, and with me, of course, to take over the stream is the Pow-Wow crew. I have the Hate Camel.
I we're taking over or something? This is news to me.
Well, I
I
mean,
just clicked the link.
if I told you, you'd think the effort would be involved and wouldn't have shown up, so yeah, surprise!
Yeah, exactly. If nominated, I will not run. If elected, I will not serve.
Exactly, that's why you got voluntold. Speaking of which, hello Johnny.
I'm here because I don't want to get fined.
Exactly. And, we always because we're doing some criminal undertakers, we needed an expert. That's why we called our friend from down under, Terry.
Hi, everyone.
I definitely didn't agree to any crimes, man. No felonies on stream. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking this ain't my channel.
Yeah, true.
Guys, I hope you are having a good evening. It is Sunday, which means technical difficulties are likely to happen, as you can see on the side of the screen there. So, if you'd be so kind as to keep an eye out and let me know in chat as soon as something goes wrong, that'd be great. Try not to annoy me with it, but if it entertains you, well then just ignore what I just said. We're gonna try and do the OBS again, as I usually try to do, and so far so good. But fingers crossed it stays that way.
Yeah.
Otherwise, how are you guys doing this evening?
I'm alright.
That's great.
Yeah, not too bad.
Right on, right on.
God, if I had known about that pregnant pause there, I would have went ahead and gone first. I'm doing okay. A little tired, but
I mean, I'm looking at 3 people responsible for that pause you mentioned, so.
Well,
Yeah.
I think the other two would go first, and
how are you, Della? That's the question.
Oh, I'm always better than I deserve. That's not a question. That's just a
Well,
fact
and
of life.
And it's funny, in that pause, it would have been, either all of us answering at the same time or
Well,
just
none of us.
nothing, or dead silence.
yeah.
And which do you think I'd prefer? I wonder. It's a toss-up, really.
Well, no, the dead silence pads out the runtime, so we get more watch minutes for the channel.
That's what the intro is for.
See, I
Yeah,
like
okay.
those pauses like that. I think they're funny, especially since I'm not the one running the streams. Like, if we're all just quiet, then maybe somebody will think something's wrong. Maybe somebody in chat be like, "Chat, just listening on earbuds or whatever, just doing something else." Like, wait, did the stream die? What?
Well, I mean, as everyone who watches long enough will know by now, I only hate the awkward silences on my night because it means I actually have to do something. I'm too used to having guests around to carry the show for
No.
me.
But it's worth noting that is actually why I'm here. There's so much traffic outside that even if no one's talking, everyone will know that the stream is still up because they'll hear the cars going past.
Oh, yes, exactly. We now return to the sounds of Australia. Terry?
You can hear them right now.
So I just read something funny. Tesla is recalling over 500,000 vehicles in the United States due to its boombox feature, a 2020 update that allows drivers to play sounds such as a bleeding goat or a fart noise outside the vehicle.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Musk blames Fun Police for recall of feature.
I mean, I don't see a problem with it.
Now all they need to do is make a car horn that does the in the
Yeah, I
sound
was
of
gonna say,
farts.
the
The sound of
cucaracha.
farts.
Yeah.
Ooh, that last
So
one
that's
sounded a little
actually
wet.
that's actually an Easter egg in Hitman is you can go up to the hotel room and play La Cucaracha on like a keyboard that's up there, and then when you go outside, there's like these giant cockroaches terrorizing the city.
Nice.
I never knew that. But no, I imagine because they're
it's in the Bangkok level because the whole level is a giant hotel. If you go to the top floor, there's like a band that's like doing rehearsals up there. If you evacuate, you can sneak up and play the keyboard and do La Cucaracha.
But yeah, I imagine since they're electric cars, they don't have an engine noise. So you ever hear those cars like they don't have the engine noise, but they make the engine sound? to me, that's false advertising.
It's I wonder if I can convince the people in my area to get like the engine sounds replaced with fart sounds, so at least it's funny when they're driving past.
I don't know, man. If all they heard was farts, when you were on stream,
Farts with the occasional, oh, excuse me.
I mean, it's the sound I want to hear from something that runs on gas, to be honest.
Fair point.
I just imagine more people in chat, they'd find it funny at first, but then they're like, all right, man, you having intestinal issues? What's going on here?
What have
Someone
you
at
eaten?
least spring for the belching version?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I suppose you do want a bit of variety.
Well, I mean, you make that the car horn. Pressing the accelerator gets you the farts. Honking at somebody gets you the burps.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And
I
Barney
just
sort of
imagine
sets
like
in-
somebody hitting it at a green light and sounding like one of Sinatra's donations.
Gosh.
So you want horsecock playing as they drive?
Well, no, he's got that one where it's that dude ripping a really long fart next to his woman.
Yeah, I don't actually watch Sinatra's streams, so the only thing I know is that if you give him money, he'll play the Horsecock song,
Right.
which is ridiculous because you
If
listen
you
to
give
it
him
for free.
enough money, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, no, I think it's also to annoy Viper. She hates that song. And to answer Mr. Yes's question, no, I didn't watch it, but I did catch like updates on Twitter there at the end.
I don't know Viper. Like, I know of her. I know she's an artist, and that's kind of it. Oh, and she pretends that she doesn't like being called cute because it gets more people to call her cute.
Right.
That's it. That's my entire knowledge of Viper. I've never spoken to her besides telling her that her cat has the same name that mine from childhood used to be called.
No, I had a couple cats that I named them the same as Eddie Griffin. He had a comedy special talking about his two cats, socks and shoes.
Yeah. I do think it's pretty cool because Monkey's cat is named Phoebe and Viper's cat is named Nix, and those are the names of two of my cats when I was a kid. I was like, what are the odds?
Nice.
And the third one was Choo Choo. It was the one and only time my mother let the kids name a pet. I was like, okay, we're never letting you do that again. I will name the other two cats.
I will take your opinion into consideration and then immediately disregard it.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, I lost my pet naming privileges over the stupidest reasons. When we had cats when I was in high school, they had kittens, and I wanted to name the third one. The other two got their names, and I wanted to name the third one. And I wasn't allowed to name anymore because I wanted to name it Two-Face because the cat was half orange, half black, and it went right down the middle on the face. I'm like, what better name, right? Like, give it Two-Face.
Yeah.
Harvey Dent.
Right? And then I'm like,
Well, no, I was saying you could have named him Harvey.
well, I didn't get to argue my case because I didn't much after I mentioned, like, how come you're gonna take away my privileges from naming for a Batman reference when you literally named one Mr. Wu-Tang and another one
God,
Miss Peekaboo.
Jesus! I got his.
Okay,
honest,
Mr. Wu-Tang does sound like that's a solid name for a cat. I'm not gonna lie.
I think
for a
HP
stupid
Lovecraft.
reason.
HP Lovecraft had the best name.
Hey man, Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with, Della.
Look, I ain't got nothing against the Wu-Tang Clan, man. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it was used to name the cat for a stupid reason.
Threatening him with like sending him off to a Chinese restaurant if he didn't behave. I approve of that as well.
It was to gain favor of the middle child, which didn't work.
I still say it's a solid name.
Look, Wu-Tang is not a bad name. I'm not complaining about that. I'm complaining about why he was named that. Can we agree that's fair?
Intent is
Okay, that's
yeah.
That's right, Mr. S. Wu-Tang is for the children.
I'm gonna choose to take that in a non-sexual way.
Well, yeah, it was not meant in a sexual way. What?
I've been on the internet too much, man.
You never heard Wu-Tang is for the children?
I've never listened.
See?
I will die on that hill. Lovecraft was the best cat namer of all time.
I don't know, man. I think I'm batting 1,000 with naming the dogs.
What are the dogs' names then? I know there's.
I've only named a couple of them.
I mean,
like some of them I inherited. So.
I mean, if you ain't naming your cat Kitten Play, that's just a lost cause right there.
That's fair.
You're missing out.
Deefa is a good name for a dog.
Well, no, I convinced my mother to name her Rottweiler Chewbacca.
Yes.
I was gonna say I knew one of them was Chewy.
Yeah. At the time, he was a puppy and he was chewing on everything. So I was like, call him Chewy. She's like, I am not naming a dog Chewy. It's like, short for Chewbacca. And I did the Wookiee call.
Oh, fuck. I always fuck
Mm-hmm. Well, now that there's people listening, like, intentionally with chat, so, yeah, I'm like, nah, I can't do it.
I always fuck it up, like, the first try or the first few tries until it adjusts, and then I can do it. But I'm not going to spend the time doing that just for that.
I also don't want to risk him hearing me from the living room and trying to, like, scratch on the door.
That is fair. That is fair.
Oh, he's calling me. Oh.
Well, yeah, like, I mean, as soon as she, like, gave the thumbs up on the name, like, every time I see him, like, Chewie, and I'd do that, so he's like, yeah. He's like, oh, I know who wants to play. And then
I think
I convinced
Chewbacca should be the girl's name. Chewbacca should be the male dog name.
Are you suggesting that Wookiees are Spanish in origin?
Well, I mean, a lot of European languages do the A is feminine, O is masculine. Italian does it too.
I mean,
yes, just the
hairy motherfuckers.
Speaking of Mexicans, no.
I love it.
I also convinced my grandmother to name her Chihuahua Jesus.
Yeah.
But not like Spanish. It was actually the word "hey" and then the Greek Zeus.
Okay, I dig it. I dig it.
Just to fuck with the vets whenever he's got to go in.
And,
I still.
what's her face has a dog named Zeus and Hera or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
The one whose name I can't think of at the top of my head.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't. The name escapes me as well. Johnny, you introduced us to her. What's her name?
Christina Drake. That's it.
There you go.
Okay.
Yes.
Quick as a whip, bud.
I knew I'd think of it eventually, but yeah.
See,
I'm glad I was able to help.
I like the.
Your assistance was also appreciated, Johnny.
I like the play on the words with the Jesus there, but I still would have also liked the regular Jesus. That way, you show up with the dog's there. Oh,
Jesus dog.
I see you decided to welcome Jesus into your home.
Mm-hmm. I remember that she's got a dog named Hera because I asked if it was a reference to the Greek goddess or Hera the dog, as in
right.
Yeah, gotcha.
Hera the dog that bit you, and that's it. That's how I remember that she has a dog named Hera.
Nice. Well, chat, how are you doing this evening?
Mr. Yes asked earlier if I watched the Superb Owl, and I did not.
The Super Bowels?
I didn't even know it was on until people in Quipper's chat started mentioning it. And it's like, okay, I guess that's today.
That was the big thing today, and tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. And...
Or Vaccentine's Day, if you believe the propaganda, because there was a big get vaccinated tomorrow push that I saw on Twitter.
Well, they can keep pushing.
Yeah.
They can keep pushing that. I'm going to push their women.
Before you give her a jab, get one yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Brought to you by Pfizer.
Vaccines and Valentines. Come show me your proof of vaccine or your vaccine appointment confirmation to be entered to win a smart TV. So I just said Happy Valentine's Day.
I've always hated Valentine's Day.
I've never cared about it. I've never hated it, but I've never cared about it.
I've literally never celebrated Valentine's Day.
I put in as much effort into Valentine's Day as my girlfriend puts into steak and blowjob day. So,
Mr. Yes says tomorrow is Singles Day. Really? How many singles you bringing down to the Rippers?
I have been single since birth. Well, that's good because it means there's only one of you, which is the correct amount.
Well, I mean, what you got against twins?
Well,
depends. Does one of them have an evil mustache?
But even twins are individually single. Like there's only one of each of them.
Oh, what's their names? Abby and Brittany. There we go. Yeah.
Who and who?
They're not always
The conjoined
individually
twins.
single.
Oh, this is true.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, Siamese twins.
No, they were American. I'm pretty sure.
Thank you.
Uh,
Oh, I'm so glad someone did that.
Yeah, I think it's weird that like countries just change names. Like it used to be Siam, now it's what Thailand. I was like, what for?
Okay, yeah. Well,
They're-
there's
they're-
also Myanmar and Burma.
There's
Yeah.
Minnesotans.
It's I think Babylon is a better name than Iraq, and Persia is a better name than Iran.
You say Babylon?
Yeah.
I mean, we could babble on and on. I mean, that's kind of the point of the show.
Yeah. Whenever I think of Iraq, I always think Mesopotamia. That's what we were taught about in school as kids. I don't ever. I didn't go to church enough to associate
And-
Babylon.
And of course, it's Istanbul, not Constantinople.
I mean, it depends who you ask.
Well, it's nobody's business but the Turks.
Speaking of the Turks, I saw Chank make an appearance in a South Park game.
In a South Park game.
Yeah, I recently replayed the Stick of Truth, and when you're playing it, one of the little things is when you go door to doors to some of the random houses in the game, they'll have little scenes of like people getting caught in actions and then they'll close the door on you. One of them is like some guy sitting in the living room masturbating in front of the TV. Another one is some woman doing something, and then one of the other ones I saw was a man in a gimp mask fucking a horse.
Oh, you found Chank.
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
So is that game working well for you? Because I did see you playing it earlier. Did you get it running?
Yeah, I've been working on some videos. I decided to redo Stick of Truth first, so I got that all recorded, and I'm slowly editing that because, like, I'm not in a rush to do any content this year. I'm still not convinced if I'm going to do any this year or wait till next year or not. But I'm still slowly working on content. I want to make it look good and try some other things and stuff like that. So,
Well, Stick of Truth is awesome. That is, I mean, normally games that are like tied into TV shows or movies or whatever are terrible, but South Park, they really got it right with both Stick of Truth and Fractured Butthole.
yeah.
Both of them are awesome.
Yeah, and I also thought, because like I originally I was just gonna, because like I was debating on it whether I was gonna do Stick of Truth or not, and then do Fractured Butthole, and then I started playing Fractured Butthole after I got it all working and stuff like that, and then I was like, oh, the beginning of it actually mentions the first story. It's so
Yeah.
why don't I just go ahead and do that first, anyways? So yeah, kind of made the decision for me.
I forget which one it is, but one of them you have to actually. Well, you don't have to. It's an optional boss. You can beat up Morgan Freeman.
Oh.
And I thought that was fun.
But he's got so many freckles. Do you know how much power those freckles hold?
Well, that's it. He's an incredibly difficult boss.
I mean, he earns a freckle every time he solves a convoluted situation.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, his power levels are indeed off the charts because he is brutally difficult. I never actually managed to kill him.
Speaking of brutally difficult, well, I wouldn't say difficult, but very annoying to face in Stick of Truth, the fucking Nazi zombies. Cause I was just like, I've been OP this whole time. Like, well, maybe not OP, but I've been pretty fucking good. I haven't died anything. I've had my fair share of challenges, but I haven't died very much, so I'm doing pretty good. But I get to the Nazi zombies, and I'm taking my time, because I'm like, I got time to let this milk a bit, but also just fucking not take too much of a risk and just fucking beat them. No. I get to the last guy. I got 2 out of 3 guys dead. And then fucking as soon as I'm about to, it's his turn before I take my last turn to finish the 3rd guy off. On the fucking Nazi zombies turn, the other 2 revive. I'm like, no, you bastard! luckily, I hadn't used any of my special guest attacks yet, so I used one of those for once, and I'm like, oh, I didn't want to waste these yet, but okay. Mr. Slave, finish them.
But that's actually a big problem I have whenever I play any RPG is all the consumables, you always never want to use them. It's like, okay, yeah, they'll help right now, but what if there's another fight I need them for? Like, so all the really powerful stuff I just never use. And then you finish the game and you've got like, oh wow, I could have made this whole game so much easier if I'd used any of this stuff.
Well, and that's the thing too, like with those ones, they specifically say, we can't help you with boss fights though, man. Those are too tough for us. Motherfucker, that's what I want you for, is the goddamn boss fights.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same with every single boss is immune to like all the really powerful spells.
Like,
well, what's the point of giving me the spells then?
South Park games, how about this? You take away the ability for their attacks to finish them instantly. Maybe do like massive amount of damage, like half damage, 75% damage, whatever. Fine. But, and then in exchange, let us use them on boss fights. Does that sound fair?
I forget which one it was. One of the Final Fantasy games was like, holy crap, you can actually use these spells on bosses, and then and they actually work. Like, okay, this is the best game ever. I think it was 13. You could actually like cast death spells on bosses, and I mean they didn't work often because it was based on the level of the opponent, so they were generally quite a high level, so the success rate was low. But you could actually instant death the bosses if you got lucky.
I know that once you get to, I think it's was it Grand Pulse or Pulse? I don't fucking know. The big open area before the end of everything.
Yes.
If you power up, I think it's Vanille. Like she has the death spell. She's the only one that has the death spell, so you can actually charge into the Adamantoises and pray that the death spell hits.
Yeah, that's actually recommended by a lot of strategy guides. Is look, you will get so much experience if you just do this. So we think everyone should just spend like an hour or two farming the turtles.
Definitely heard of that.
That was just my stomach.
13 had a lot of problems as far as a Final Fantasy game goes.
And two shit characters was one of them.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of shit characters. To be honest.
Yeah.
Hope was so
and the combat, you don't, for the most part, pick what attacks you do. All you do is control what class every character plays as. And it's like, it's not great.
You can control which spell you're going to use, but
time for that.
Exactly. Like by the time you get you have to get through your entire. Like if you're gonna fill up the stat, was it the ATB?
Yeah.
Or however they fucking do that. Yeah. You're spending all that time while you're getting your ass kicked.
But worse than that is the auto attack is too good for you to use anything else. Like, it actually learns. Like, if you use a fire spell and it does no damage, it will just not use fire ever again. So you are better off just mashing auto attack than putting any thought whatsoever into any of it, because it is too effective to actually try and play strategically or methodically. It's just there's no time, and the autopilot is way too good.
Yeah, it's true. See, I absolutely am still infuriated by 13 because of the
I don't blame you.
bogus way they have it set up, where you have to do things a very specific way. And if you don't, make sure you have plenty of fucking different save points to go back to.
Yeah.
Well,
Or else
and
you're completely fucked.
especially by getting like your summon.
Those fights pissed me off so much. trying to get the summons, that was aggravating.
Fucking just pick a fucking style, man. Quit making it all so fucking intricate and different. Like, I like variety as much as the next guy, don't get me wrong, but enough is enough.
But one thing that got me with 13 is the final boss fight. Before the final boss fight, there's this big long cutscene, which is so long, my controller turned off from inactivity.
Oh, yeah.
So I got thrown into the fight, and my controller was turned off, so I had to turn it back on. And by the time I did that, I was like so far behind that it was easier to just let myself die and hit continue, and then skip the cutscene the second time round.
The only time I seen that was when the game first came out, and I was at a buddy of mine I worked with his place while he was playing it, and most of us passed out waiting for that cutscene to end.
Yeah. That is a definite problem with the Final Fantasy series. Is the cutscenes can go way too long, especially if they're cutscenes before a difficult fight. In Final Fantasy X, Unaleska, I think is the boss's name. There is this big ass unskippable cutscene that's like 5 minutes long, and you have to sit through it every single time she kills you, and she will kill you a lot unless you're very over leveled. And it's like, fuck this game. I hate this cutscene. I don't want to hear it ever again.
Wow. Yeah. Sometimes too much is sometimes enough is enough, guys. Just you don't always need to cram so much in there. I've had my problems fucking doing that in the past, and it's not led me anywhere good.
I will say all cutscenes should be skippable. I don't see any reason not to let people skip them if they don't care.
Speaking of skippable cutscenes, someone in chat I've never seen before. Hello, Chuck
Mangione.
I apologize.
Chuck Mangione.
I am the unskippable cutscene. Oh, well. I do not see a skip button, so far I have no reason to argue this.
Chuck's from AP's chat.
Okay.
Mr. Yes must let people know that we're live. How's it going? Good to see you.
Hey Vince, how's it going there, bud? Final Fantasy
Vince says Final Fantasy 8 for life.
I'm partial to 7, but I've got no beef with 8 yet.
I never finished 8 because the final disc didn't work, so I got like 85% of the way through, and then the final disc just wouldn't work, so I never actually finished it. But no, it was a decent game. Not my favorite by any means. I think the 2 on either side were better. I think 7 and 9 were both better than 8. But 8 wasn't bad.
I think the 4th disc is the quickest part of the game, because like if you do all your stuff if you're the type to grind,
yes,
when you get the ability, rather than okay, I don't know what I'm doing right now, so I'm gonna grind some levels or whatever.
Okay, minus 10 points to Chuck for the French language. That's just disgusting. How dare you? How dare you? Has no one told you that first impressions are lasting impressions? How dare you, sir, use such vile language in my chat? I won't hold it against you though, because that's not what I'm here to do. I'm just here to mock you relentlessly for absolutely no reason whatsoever. And
yeah, you tell him all about it, Della. You do that.
I see your point, and I raise you a touche, sir.
Jin says he enjoyed the magic system in 8. I found it frustrating because it kind of disincentivized you from ever casting the spells. Because you attached the spells to your stats, and if you cast the spells, your stats went down. So you're better off not actually casting any spells, is what I found. So I that was one of the things that frustrated me with 8.
Fair enough.
I'm probably the only person who's either on the stream or in chat that has not played any Final Fantasy games, so I don't know what the fuck y'all are talking about.
Well,
about some bullshit,
go
bud.
play them, come back, and then we can discuss them.
Yeah, we'll wait.
How about you watch some sports ball and then come back and we'll discuss it?
Well, that depends. Can a sports ball cast magic spells across a level 10 demon?
And can you summon all of the Knights of the Round Table and King Arthur off a single materia in any sports ball game?
Yeah. What?
Can doing either of those things that you two just mentioned lead to touching boobs?
Oh, yeah.
Because sports ball can, if you're good at it.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, I guarantee you there's some boob action coming your way. You just need to know how to master. You just need to be a master of materia, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I think that's the whole point of this. I think that's the whole point of this discussion right now. I have no fucking clue what you're talking about, sir.
Sounds like you got some required reading.
All I'll say
I
is
didn't sign up for homework.
Cloud would have hooked up with Aerith if she hadn't died. Oh. So I'm going to say the materia helped, is what I'm going to say.
Man, I would have preferred Zack and Aerith, bruh.
What's that?
Zack and Aerith all the way, man.
Oh, right. I don't know. I barely remember Zack's role in things. I think he was bigger in the movies, which I didn't see, but
Vince says they can summon cringe racial equality or equity commercials in sports ball. See, I didn't even watch the commercials this year. Nothing.
Right. I saw the end racism in the end zone, and I'm like, well, it's a good thing I didn't watch.
Yeah. So Zack can have Aerith as long as I get Tifa. Tifa is way better.
Okay, that name sounds familiar. Was that the cartoon character getting railed in the video in Italian Parliament?
Yes,
she was getting railed in an Italian Parliament.
That's the one. Yes.
Okay, so I've heard that name before. Okay.
And she's easily the best in all of Final Fantasy VII.
She is the waifu.
Yeah. Just like I'm Team Lulu in Final Fantasy X.
All right, Vincent. Let me know if that's any better, or if I still need to turn my volume up a bit.
Bronx Beat says he likes the PS2 version of FF. I wonder if he means like Final Fantasy X? Wasn't that the one that was on PS2?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I could segue us into some sports ball / nerd shit if you like.
If you want to carry the stream, by all means, bruh.
Well, no, I was scrolling Twitter again, and apparently the 49ers, the San Francisco 49ers, that's a football team, Terry.
Okay.
said
yeah, because Terry's the only one.
Well, I mean,
I wouldn't have known if you didn't tell me. I'm not going to...
The CFL is a thing. I figure you're passingly familiar, with the sports ball teams. Yeah, you never cease to disappoint me. Anyway, the San Francisco 49ers said a network security incident had disrupted some of the organization's computer systems after a ransomware gang claimed the NFL franchise as a victim. The 49ers got hacked.
Nice. Did the hackers change their name to the 69ers?
No, that would be funny though.
Weak.
There's the Philadelphia. They could also do that with the Philadelphia 76ers as well.
Yeah.
Change the logo to Kaepernick's head.
Or his knee.
With the fro.
Just have a big knee.
Yeah, that dude wore the tightest braids until he took that knee. No, yes, they're still the Redskins.
Yeah.
I don't care what they call themselves now, what trademark they've got. To me, that's the Washington Redskins. It's not the Cleveland Guardians either. It's the Cleveland Indians. And personally, I think they should bring back Chief Wahoo. I've said this a million times on stream. I'm not going to change my mind.
Yeah, that's like the Dixie Chicks dropping the Dixie just because of fucking PC or whatever. Fucking fuck off. You're still the Dixie Chicks. Get over it.
And nobody's listened to them since the 2000s. I don't care.
And no one's listened to them since Earl died. Yes, we know.
When I hear Redskins, I don't think of Indians. Or I mean, I do now. my entire
You're welcome.
childhood, Redskins were like candy. There's a specific lolly called Redskins that I used to eat when I was a kid. They were like 5 cents each.
When I was a kid, it was the potato.
Right.
Yeah, Mexican potatoes, yeah. Well, I mean, this was also the Washington Redskins when you were a kid. You're not that old, Johnny. Shit.
Well, no,
I'm sure that was a thing in Ireland too.
But it wasn't like you hear Redskin, the first thing you think of is Native American. Like,
no, as a kid, they were just lollies, but they did have a picture of an Indian on the wrapper. But I didn't make any connection. It was just like, no, there's those things that you buy from like the news agency for 5 cents each, and yeah.
Yeah. The most offensive thing about the Washington Redskins to me has always been that they've sucked as long as I've been alive. And it had nothing to do with the name.
Fair enough.
So were the Washington Redskins an all-Indian team? Because that would be cool.
No, it's just the name of an NFL team.
That's lame, then. If they were willing to commit and only field Indian players, I'd be like, okay, well, awesome. That's commitment.
Well, I mean, there have been quite a few different teams that have changed their names since the 70s, since like the American Indian movement shit and whatnot.
Yeah, I was gonna say pretty much pretty near everyone and their dog is part native these days, anyways. So
the Syracuse Orangemen, that used to be based off of had an Indian mascot. Now it's just a great big orange in a ball cap.
It's a lot of things in Australia had to change their name because they were later found to be racist, which is like, what is wrong with Gollywog biscuits?
Right.
Like, why do they have to rename those?
Didn't they rename some cheese in Australia too?
Yeah, it used to be Coon Cheese because the guy who founded the company was like Edward Coon or William Coon or something like that, and so it wasn't a racial thing; it was his name. But like people kicked up a stink, and so they buckled and changed the name.
But Terry, black people don't have the time to distinguish the context in racial terms. It's either, if you say it, it's just racist automatically. They don't have time. They got too much shit going on to deal with that kind of stuff.
Look, in fairness, I do understand why Nigger Boy soap pads changed their name. Like, I'm not completely unreasonable here. I get why they had to change. I don't think Coon Cheese needed to.
See, that's the problem. You're thinking, Terry. You're thinking. There's no time for thinking. That's why it's so cut and dry.
Yeah, it was Edward Coon.
Edward Coon, okay. I knew it was something like that.
From Philadelphia.
There you go. But it's annoying that they keep changing the names of things for no damn reason. Like those Redskin lollies got changed. I think that's Red Rippers or something now. I don't know what. I'm not 100% sure what the new name is, but it's something like that. Like, just call them Redskins.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
Oh no, I was reading chat. Bronx V says, "I'm talking about the AFL. It's called footy." It's like, no, that's American Football League. That's not footy.
AFL is Australian Football League, and yeah, the sport that they play is not rugby. I don't.
I maintain that the AFL is American Football League, and they were represented by the Cincinnati Bengals this year.
As far as I know, the sport they play in our AFL is just called Aussie Rules. I don't know if there's like a proper name for it, but like I've only ever heard it referred to as Aussie Rules. So that's what I'm going with. It's Aussie rules is what the AFL plays, and it is not rugby.
Well, I don't know anything about rugby or Aussie rules. Before talking to any Australians, the only time I'd ever heard of it was that Funny People. See that movie with Adam Sandler and Seth Rogen?
Nope.
Yes.
It had Eric Bana in it, and he was a big, he was actually playing an Australian for once.
Oh yes, that's right. That's
I
right.
like Eric Bana.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
No, I was
I
shocked to
would-
hear that he was a stand-up comedian before.
I would love to see him in more comedic roles, to be honest.
Well, he used to be in a TV show called Full Frontal. That was like
Yeah.
that was
I
what
saw a
knew
couple
him
of clips
from.
because of your recommendation. That was hilarious.
I mean, before he became big in America, that was what I knew him as. He was the guy from Full Frontal. Yeah, no, that was a great show. There's a lot of really good comedians that came out of that show.
Well, I like it when I see somebody playing against what I'm used to seeing him play. Like Eric Bana is usually in a fairly serious actor in all the movies I've seen him in. Or it's a serious part, dramatic or action or whatever. I don't get to see him actually try and be funny. And he was probably like my favorite part of the whole damn movie, and it wasn't a very high bar.
And yes, Cynic is mentioning Poida.
yeah, that's the one.
That's the character that he's probably most famous for in Australia is Poida.
But like I liked Will Ferrell with Stranger Than Fiction and the other guys, because it seemed like that he was playing it straight as opposed to his other movies.
Yeah, Stranger Than Fiction was definitely a good movie in my opinion.
That was a very good movie. Yeah.
It was.
I liked the
Gesundheit.
entire story, and yeah, bless you, bud.
I like how I muted it and then unmuted it and the same sneeze.
I mean, you won't know who he is, but Eric Bana also did a really good impersonation of Ray Martin, who was like an Australian like host down here. And if you watch his, was it A Current Affair? I forget what the name of the show was, but whatever it was that Ray Martin hosted, that was really funny too. So you probably need to know a bit about Ray Martin to understand the jokes there. And who I forget his name, someone who hosted the Sale of the Century down here. Eric Bana did a good version of him as well. Glenn something.
I don't know much about that. The most I've heard about like anything Australian aside from like what you guys export over here is I caught a couple of adverts on YouTube for the Thirsty Camel like liquor stores. I was like, huh.
I think Yahoo Serious kind of made a name for himself over in the States as well.
Yeah.
Wait, what's that name again?
Yahoo Serious. He did Young Einstein. Is like the one thing he did that anyone cares about.
Never heard of him or it. Sorry.
Okay, it's probably before your time. It was when I was a little kid. So it was probably before you were born. I think it was in the 80s.
Let's see, 1988.
There you go.
Oh, so I just missed it.
But you were, yeah. Even if you had been born like a year earlier, I don't think many 1-year-olds were watching Young Einstein. So you well and truly missed it.
You don't know, man. Mama Camel may have been a tiger mom.
It's Young Einstein is a great movie. If you get a chance to watch it, I definitely recommend it. I loved it as a kid, and
I guess it's going on the list.
Thank you.
one
One of these days, Johnny. One of these days. We'll get around to it.
Cynic says Reckless Kelly was all right. It was all right. It was nowhere near Young Einstein, though. He really was like the movie equivalent of a one-hit wonder.
Yeah, I mean, like there, some things, a lot of stuff just doesn't translate. I mean, I love Australia because he gave us like Mel Gibson and Nicole Kidman, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and then
Wolverine.
seeing here like Mr. Accident was in 2000,
Yeah, no one cares about that.
and I'm like, man, you are 15 years too late for that.
Yeah.
Although I do think they did you dirty with that movie, Australia. It kind of sucked.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard that it wasn't good. But no,
Yeah.
young Einstein, he's a Tasmanian apple farmer who split the atom with a chisel because he was trying to put bubbles in beer.
Split the atom with a chisel because he was trying
Yeah,
to
a
put
hammer and
bubbles
chisel.
in beer.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really fucking
Okay.
stupid.
Okay.
Because Albert Einstein was Tasmanian, as I'm sure you all know.
Of course.
Right. That's where he's from.
Yeah.
And his dad.
You know, I mean, I
spent all
couldn't
his-
place the accent at first, but when we saw Nanette for the first time, you know, it all clicked in my head. Like, you know, Tasmania, weird accent, weirder hair. Okay.
Chuck also mentions Drop
Drop
Dead
Dead
Fred.
Fred.
That was a good movie I found as a child.
That wasn't Yahoo Serious, though. That was Rick Mail.
Still.
I mean, it was a good movie. I'm just saying that if he was naming Yahoo Serious movies, then Drop Dead Fred wasn't one.
Fair enough.
But I mean, I did like Rick Mail. Pretty much everyone in the young ones was pretty good. But Rick Mail was probably the best out of them.
Right on.
Let's see here.
Uh-oh.
What?
Okay,
No,
let's see here. What are we looking up?
Oh,
What's
boy.
going on?
I'm looking up what Phoebe Cates has done since
Oh,
Fast Times?
since the long ago.
oh, right.
It's,
Since Gremlins.
the one thing I remember about
Gremlins
Alexi
2.
Sale, who was in the young ones, he had his own TV show, and the theme song was a ripoff of the Mickey Mouse Club. He used to go ALEXEISYYLE, and then like that's it. That's my one memory of Alexi Sale was the theme song to his TV show.
She voiced herself in Lego Dimensions from Gremlins. That was
We
That-
have
that's
a Peter
the-
Pot in chat.
that was 2015.
Wait, so Gremlins came out after? After Fast Times?
Gremlins came out, Fast Times was 82, Gremlins was 84.
Okay.
And
So that's all she's done since 1984?
Oh no, she's done a few movies, but I'd be fucked if I ever seen them.
I don't know what Bronx Beats is saying I sound like. A Gaia Euros? I don't know what he's talking about.
A gayer Euros.
Okay, what's a Euros? I mean, other than like the food, which is not spelt that way, but I'm confused. I don't know what he's trying to say.
I have no idea.
And no, I don't know Randbot.
Alrighty then.
Gremlins 2 was 1990? Wow.
Yep.
Huh. I didn't realize I was older than Gremlins 2.
Gremlins is one where I remember the rules of like don't feed them after midnight, don't get them wet, and whatever the third one was.
Yeah,
Tock
I mean,
had some, like,
it seemed very simple when I watched it as a kid. It's like, okay, yeah, that's, you know, those are simple enough rules. It could get kind of difficult to maintain them all, but you know, understandable. As I got older, it's like, well, wait a second, like
it's always after midnight.
Midnight, you know, like, what if you move time zones? Like, you know, you move cross country, you know.
But
is it
even
still...
beyond that, it is literally always after midnight. There is no time except midnight exactly when it is not after midnight.
You're not wrong. Although, to be fair, technically midnight has come after midnight before.
True, but like you can say midnight on the dot is midnight, and then a split second later it's after midnight. It's like, okay, really.
I'll even be generous and let people round up to a whole second, but yeah, I get you.
And then so then it's after midnight for 11 hours 59 minutes, and then it's
Yeah.
So yeah, cool movie, but yeah, that is a flawed rule.
Yeah, because like was it like an old like Chinese dude that sold it to him? It's like where did you get this from, sir? This isn't native to North America. So obviously it's had to fly across an ocean or two. You know, is it midnight there? What's the time zone difference, man?
It also, how humid does the air have to be before it counts as getting it wet?
Ooh.
That's a good question. Yeah.
Gabby, don't apologize for being weird.
I mean, I hope she feels better soon and all, but how does that explain any weirdness before the coof? Just kidding. But not really.
Well, I mean, she does watch a lot of anime, so.
Fair.
I've heard.
Fair. That'll get you.
Yeah, that would explain some level of weirdness.
His name was Kie Luke.
Who?
The guy from the shop where he got the gremlin.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh, it looks like he hasn't done anything since 1990. I wonder why. And I'm like, oh, he's dead.
That's where my mind was going to go.
He is long since dead.
That's a slight impediment to career advancement. That's true.
Well, he was born in 1904, so yeah, I could see where that would be an issue.
Yeah, it's a tiny one, but
I mean, it sounds like the dude had a good run.
Died tragically after dropping a glass of water on a gremlin.
At high noon.
I feel bad,
with the curtains open.
I feel bad for Raul Julia because his last movie was Street Fighter. Like, out of everything he did in his career, the thing that killed him was being in the Street Fighter movie.
That movie robbed us of my generation's Gomez Adams.
Yes. But no, I liked him. He was easily the best thing in that entire movie. Like, without a shadow of a doubt. There was
I tried to block that movie out of my memory. So
fair enough.
I try to overcompensate by really holding on to the Mario movie.
Yeah.
That's my video game movie of my childhood.
Oh no, the Mario
that and Mortal Kombat.
The Mario movie is definitely awesome.
Oh yeah.
As a kid, I hated the Street Fighter movie. As an adult, I think it is enjoyably bad. It's the sort of thing that you would watch on Mystery Science Theater, where it's just like, this is so terrible, but it's like fun to rip apart.
I mean, maybe one of these days I'll go back and watch it now that I'm an adult. But yeah. Also, it had Raul Julia in it, but it also had I was a big Van Damme fan as a kid.
It also had Kylie Minogue in it, which should have put everyone off.
Wait, what part did she play?
She played Cammy.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, it didn't even register to me.
No, I mean, I watched it despite Kylie Minogue because I was a Street Fighter fan, but I should have listened to my gut. Don't watch anything with Kylie Minogue.
Well, didn't they try and make another Street Fighter movie? What, I don't know, 10 years ago or so?
Probably.
I swear it had Michael Clark Duncan in it.
But
so it's before he died, obviously.
The animated movie was awesome. The Japanese anime thing, that was actually really good.
Is that the one that had Alice in Chains and stuff as part of the soundtrack?
Oh, I don't remember the soundtrack, but I remember
It's like Them Bones or something was playing one scene. I remember.
But in the anime one, there was a lot of the fight scenes that should have been in like the real life movie. Like, okay, there's actual like Street Fighter one-on-one fights going on.
Yeah, that was the Legend of Chun-Li.
Oh yeah. I wonder. That's an idea for a movie night, Johnny. A doubleheader. We can watch the original Street Fighter and Legend of Chun-Li back to back.
Oh God!
Nice.
I vote you two do it just because of Johnny's response.
Yeah. No, I'm on board with that.
It'll be a special episode of Torturers How You Make Friends. You can title it Torturers How You Keep Friends.
I don't know, man. Like making that, because that's like what, a 2-hour movie or hour and a half for each. So what, 3 hours, some odd, plus the streaming time.
Yeah.
You
make
that's
a day.
That's a lot of commitment.
No, but you make a day out of it.
If you have it,
I had no intention. I had no intention of like making a stream out of it. Just like if we keep joking about never doing a movie night, even though I keep bringing up movie ideas.
Right?
Well,
at this point, this is as much a running gag.
His way out of it by putting effort into it.
I was gonna say at this point, it's as much of a running gag as us going to IMDb or joking about me doing streaming more.
Indians.com.
Well, I mean, you stream enough with all your channels, so.
Yeah.
Don't you start.
So I don't know what you're talking about.
I still haven't seen the Green Mile.
Really?
We need to fix that. Pronto.
Otho May says FF12 original is best. FF12 is one of the ones I absolutely hated. I don't know why. It just did not work for me at all. I was so bored during that game.
While my eyes generally glaze over when you're talking about Final Fantasy, I do enjoy conflict. Please continue.
No, that's it. It was just so boring. I don't know. Whatever it was, it didn't work for me.
Let me actually spell that right.
All right. Well, now that you've gotten one,
now
that you've gotten one, Gabby, I expect a sandwich.
I was going to say I don't think you should give Gabby a wrench.
I don't either.
She's actually a bit needy.
Well, she is a woman.
She did have a wrench before.
Did she?
Did she?
Yeah. Oh
no,
it's Minions. Never mind. This is Minions.
You gotta remember this is Minions, not your channel, Johnny.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Della's trying to confuse you into thinking that you're responsible for the stream.
I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just letting it happen.
I am not drunk enough to be convinced that it is my stream.
Well, you're not drunk enough to not be convinced it's your stream.
Yeah, I am.
Right.
There he is, apparently.
I don't drink, but there's times that maybe it would be better if I did.
No, probably not. Fair enough.
I'm half tempted to find out because I haven't drank in forever. It's like, could I stop at just getting a buzz?
I mean, you could, but why bother?
Well, you say that, but up to this point, I've been unsuccessful.
See, Spud Gun gets it.
Yeah, that's fair. I like
See,
that.
I don't know about you, Della, but when I drink, I drink until I'm shark-eyed.
That was me too. Like, there was a time where it was like, yeah, I could stop at a buzz, but more often than not, it's like, I could stop at a buzz, but why bother? But I stopped drinking about 2 years ago. So.
Like, I just want to find out, is the stereotype completely legit, or was it just I was just a dumb 20-something, and now I'm getting too old for hangovers?
All I heard there was Della saying me too, so I think Camel needs to be cancelled.
Oh,
which channel?
Gabby, what the fuck is shark-eyed?
Oh wow!
Yo, you never met somebody that was so drunk they were shark-eyed? Just
an eye on each side of their head.
Well, no, man, you get the big old pupils or whatever.
Right.
Just
dilated pupils.
Yeah, it's blackout drunk, pretty much.
Barely holding on to consciousness.
See, my blackout...
You're just walking around on autopilot.
Yeah, my autopilot blackout was fucking... It was a master of the Houdini. Like, I don't know how, but any and every time I blacked out, I woke up in my own bed and not an issue happened. I paid my bill, I fucking took a cab, I got home safe, no funny business. All on autopilot. And I don't remember, I wake up not remembering. It's like, thank you, drunk me?
Well, I found out, like, apparently I was a ninja when I was drunk.
So was I. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, like, there was one party when I was in college, and had been drinking rum before we got there, like rum and cokes, and then playing beer pong, and cops got called for a noise complaint, and just about everyone there except for like a handful of people were under 21, me included. So like the cops, they bust up the party, try to get everyone outside, checking IDs and stuff. I stayed in the house, like I was out of view from the door when they opened it.
Right.
So like I just like slid in like the kitchen behind like the fridge and like a space between the fridge and the wall. And as soon as I heard the door close, I like army crawled from like the kitchen to the bedroom. Don't recall a thing, but apparently like as one of the guys renting the place was leaving, he saw me like hanging out by the like shh, from behind the fridge.
I'm being slandered in chat. That is unacceptable language from Gabby.
Oh, you gotta take the wrench back now, Della.
Oh. Well, she lasted longer than I thought she would. I'll give her that. No, Terry is the token white guy tonight, guys.
Yes, that is right.
I'm waiting for it to show up in chat.
It's well, one thing that made me laugh.
There it is.
I made a joke about the Holocaust, and someone's response was, "That's dark, bro." It's like, no shit.
No, jokes are funny. Like what Cynic just said. That's funny. Oh, Sora. Hi, Sora. Why did you take Gabby's wrench? She knows what she did.
Yeah.
Look at all these white knights in the chat. All right. I was only joking. Gabby can have her wrench back. You guys, there. I was just going to say stop talking because I'm not scrolling, but thank you, Gabby, for speaking. There you go. You can have it back. Don't make me regret it a second time because there won't be a third. I'm too lazy. Do it on Johnny's night.
If I remember.
I don't care if you remember. They have to remember.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm not going to remember.
This boxer guy took like selfies at Auschwitz, and it's like him and his girlfriend had these like big grins and like, posing for the camera, and like they got ripped to shreds for it. So like Imam of Peace was saying concentration camps are not tourist attractions, and TripAdvisor should categorize them appropriately. Auschwitz is a place of mourning, reflection, and learning. It's not a place to picnic and laugh with your partner for selfies. We're asking visitors to be human. That's all. And my response was, so that's a no one selling ashtrays in the gift shop?
Right.
And it all explodes from there.
We have commercials on TV here in the States. I don't know about Canada. Well, no, I was going to say in response to something in chat. I think it was Jen asking Terry if emus honk.
Oh.
We have we have Liberty Mutual. They have an emu as their mascot.
Oh yeah,
the
that's right.
Limu.
Limu the emu.
Does it honk?
No, not so much. I definitely don't recall any honking. But yeah, like there's some of them where like it's making some kind of weird ass noise. You can pull up those on YouTube, I'm sure, or just just type in actual emu.
True enough. True enough.
Don't listen to any sales pitch about insurance.
I mean, who wants to listen to insurance pitches?
Well, I don't know, man. They had Dennis Haysbert doing Allstate commercials there for a while. I felt pretty safe with that one. Pedro Serrano, dude. He's selling insurance. I'm gonna listen.
Eh.
And then what's that dude? Dean Winters was also like Mayhem.
Yeah, he's the was that State Farm? No, that's not State Farm.
I think it was also Allstate. Like they went from like Dennis Haysbert to Dean Winters, I think. State Farm was a Jake.
Yeah, it was Jake from State Farm. Yeah, that was Allstate. Also.
And then of course, they got J.K. Simmons with Farmers Insurance.
Yeah.
See, I'm getting old, man. I'm paying attention to farmers, or insurance commercials now.
Oh,
Well, are you listening? Are you paying attention because the actor's involved, or because you might need it?
Little column A, little column B. I mean, I can already feel like one of the hips getting ready to go. I'm only in my early 30s, so who knows, man?
Well, I mean, they just don't make them like they used to, I guess.
Old Cave Johnson.
Oh, thank you, Sor. Nana Camel, she's up and down. She has her good days and bad days. So, trying to just make sure everything's taken care of and she's comfortable and has plenty of opportunity to heal up.
Nice.
Yeah, we keep watching like old TV shows. Perry Mason and Rawhide are two of the ones that I usually end up sitting down and watching with her when I'm not taking care of errands or cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to tell you, man, I don't think I'd last long in Mr. Favor's employ. Dudes are getting strung up and accused of murders and kidnapped and all sorts of shit, dude. I don't care if it's got a kick-ass theme song that the Blues Brothers covered. That is a hard job, and I don't think they get paid enough.
Jobu does like rum.
Indeed, Jobu does.
Rum. You do not take Jobu's rum.
No.
And Johnny, you got IMDb up?
Duh.
You have to ask? Wow.
Well, I mean, I'm on a stream with you, so the bar is low right now.
Okay, fair, but fuck you.
No,
Also
I've been
fair.
looking at pictures of Phoebe Cates, so I don't know.
I mean, older pictures, right? The older pictures?
Would you do me a favor,
Yeah, good call.
Johnny, and would you look up Perry Mason?
Why?
Because I've got it in my head, and this could be like some Mandela effect or whatever. I don't know.
Okay.
But I swear they did like a reboot or whatever. Perry Mason when he was like an old man, like in color,
Yeah.
gray hair, gray beard. Was that Raymond Burr?
Was that Raymond Burr? Yeah, it was still Raymond Burr.
It was still him. Okay.
Yep.
Because I asked Nana Camel the other day. I was like, didn't they do a Perry Mason with like an older dude? Was that still Raymond Burr? Was that somebody else? She's like, I don't know. I was like, because I swear I remember watching like I don't know, just reruns, but
It was around the same time.
Matlock and Perry Mason. It
was about the same time they did Andy Griffith too, in color as an old guy.
Yeah.
Old Sherlock Holmes is better than old Perry Mason because that was a Mitchell and Webb sketch of Sherlock Holmes going senile and he he thinks he's this great detective, but like, he's solving the case of the missing socks that are on his feet. Yeah, so that is pretty funny. I enjoyed that sketch.
See, I remember watching, like, as a kid, I would see episodes of, it was like Perry Mason, Matlock, and Murder, She Wrote. And as a kid, I just took those things on face value. But going back and thinking about it as an adult, like, I got questions, you know? Like, did nobody ever suspect Angela Lansbury of killing any of these people? Really? Not once? Like, how many of your friends got to die before the cops start asking you questions, you know?
Oh, maybe it was Matlock, not.
Yeah. The only thing I liked about Murder, She Wrote was the theme song. Like, when I was a little kid, Mum used to watch Murder, She Wrote, so I'd stay for the theme tune and then piss off and do something else after it was over.
I don't recall the theme song for Murder, She Wrote at all right now.
That's a classical piano orchestra thing. Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up after the stream just to remind myself, because like
I know how it goes, but I can't exactly sing it because there's no words. It's just an instrumental.
Like I've got a few different TV theme songs kicking around in my head, but none of them are Murder, She Wrote. Like, of course, you know, got Rawhide and Perry Mason and In the Heat of the Night, and then like I got a couple of like newer shows like, you know, Justified and iZombie. Those are the only ones I can recall. Oh, Golden Girls, that one too. I used to see Monk. I used to watch it with my mom. I don't recall the theme song at all.
The first theme song for Monk is way better than the second one.
Yeah.
Like, not even close.
Oh, of course, Fresh Prince. You know, everyone should know the Fresh Prince theme song.
Right.
I don't count like the CSI shows because they just ripped off like classic rock tunes. Those don't count for theme songs, in my opinion.
That's fair.
Well, it's just cut up the actual song.
Yeah. Mr. Yes says Randy Newman.
Randy Newman sung the bad Monk theme song. Well, not the bad one, the less good one. Because the original one, I think it was Jeff Beal, was much, much better.
See, I know the name Randy Newman, but I for the life of me can't think of any of like his work. I just recall that one South Park episode with him lowering the bar.
No, I know he sang "Short People Ain't Got No Reason to Live." That's the one Randy Newman song I know of, other than the theme song for Monk.
I'm gonna have to listen to that after the stream too, apparently, because that sounds compelling. Yeah, I'd heard that there's a reboot of Fresh Prince. I think I saw. Didn't AP talk about it on one of his streams? I think I caught like a replay of him going through and watching the trailer for it, and I'm not impressed. Randy Newman sang the Toy Story theme. Okay,
I don't remember the Toy Story theme.
So many of them. Like I know I've sat and watched Toy Story. I don't remember the theme at all.
Yeah,
not at all.
The Monks show, written by Jeff Beal, performed by Grant Geisman.
There you go. I knew I was right. I said Jeff Beal.
I watched Monk more for Ted Levine than I did for
Tony
Shalhoub. Yeah, I like Tony Shalhoub. Don't get me wrong, but I was like, oh my god, dude! Like I get to watch Buffalo Bill every week.
I was sitting there watching the show and I'm like, where does this guy look so fucking familiar?
I was watching for Trailer Howard because I remember liking her when she was in Boston Common. And
wait, was that the Lady Cop? No,
that was.
I'm thinking of Psych. Okay, yeah, okay, gotcha.
The second assistant.
The girl in Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place.
Wait, she was the girl in Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place?
Yeah.
So in the later seasons of Monk, that's where Trailer Howard was. In the early seasons, it was Sharona, who was a totally different woman.
Oh, okay.
Biddy Schramm.
Yeah. So once she left, and I think the character's name is Natalie, played by Trailer Howard. That was like the one that I'm talking about.
And Mr. Yes, as far as I'm concerned, the theme song for Major League was Wild Thing.
Sharona was a good character. Yeah, I like Sharona. And I like that they addressed the fact that the song exists. Like in like one of the first episodes, she's like, yeah, I know there's a song. It's like, just shut up.
Well, also, like, that's a creepy ass song when you actually pay attention to the lyrics.
Yeah. She's like underage or something from the sounds of it.
Yeah, it's like that one and that police song, "Don't Stand So Close to Me."
Oh yeah, especially when Sting used to be a teacher.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
It makes it even creepier, doesn't it?
Yeah, yes, yeah, just a little bit. So,
But
wow, okay.
Every breath you take is also really fucking creepy. So,
yes. I was not going to go to that. That's a given.
But like I'm saying, like I think the police in general just sang creepy songs because that's two big ones that are like creepy as fuck.
And there was a Roxanne.
Yeah. No, was that one of those? It was like a hooker, wasn't it?
Yeah, you don't put on the red light.
So yeah, some family friendly material by the police there. We've got stalking, child molestation by the teacher, and
Yeah, because I remember one time like they had not all three of those songs like back to back to back, but like within like the same hour of radio play. And I was a teenager at the time. And I think my mom was like, you ever wonder, like if we're us kids generation, you ever sit there and think like we're worse than you? She goes, yeah. I was like, you ever stop and think that you're the ones raising us, and this is the kind of shit you listen to? I was like, just remember, you point a finger at us, you got at least three more pointing back at you. Yeah. My dad, he tried to send me a meme, and it was one of those ones like talking about how like Gen X was the last great generation, and it's got like a dude sitting there like like giving his kid a sip of beer out of a mug or whatever. And it's like, you do realize that Generation X is what raised the millennials, right? Like oh, thank you, Mr. Yes sent me the Major League intro.
okay.
I was like, don't be sitting here talking about how like my generation and the generation after is just so shit. It's like, you're partly responsible, pal.
No, I'm gonna say it. All generations are shit.
Fair.
Yeah.
Like there were shitty Gen X's. There's shitty millennials. There's shitty baby boomers. There's like.
I'm sure there were some shit bags in the greatest generation too.
Yeah. And
I'm just gonna go with what the song says, and people equal shit.
I know I've heard that name before. Who sings that?
Slipknot.
I thought it was like one of those bands. But yeah.
And then who was the one that sang with "People Are People"?
Don't know.
What about the Silent Generation? I'm sure there were some shitbags in that one too.
I've got no problem with them.
Depeche Mode. People are people.
Oh yeah. I don't know much about Depeche Mode, but I did like Enjoy the Silence. That was a really good song.
Yeah.
And the one that they were famous for, I can't remember. I can't remember the name of it now, but yeah, I'll have to look it up. But,
I know that in middle school, when I first moved into the town that I graduated from, my high school, middle school time. I had a teacher who was obsessed with Broken Wings by Mr. Mister.
Okay.
That was my favorite song to be like pulling drive-bys on in GTA Vice City.
And he had us listen to that song, I'd say a good 20 or 30 times in one class, just to listen for, because he was trying to teach the class about metaphors.
Now I just want to go like kill a couple of hookers and get in a police chase. Thanks, Johnny.
Well,
we'll do it metaphorically, and you'll be fine.
In Minecraft, it's okay.
No, it's going to be in GTA Vice City. Just as soon as I can find a PS2.
Just do it metaphorically.
Yeah. Though speaking of metaphors, always reminds me of Camel's favorite comedian, Ed Byrne. Because
no, it's not. It's a simile.
Yes, exactly. In his bit where he's ripping on Alanis Morissette's "Ironic," apparently someone in the chat screamed out, "It's a metaphor," and he's like, "This is why it pays to pay attention in third grade English class, because I was right there with the response. No, it's a simile." And
next week, I'm going to figure out a way to get high school calculus into my bit.
It's that's actually the only bit of Ed Burns that I know is his thing on Ironic.
I see. I used to watch.
Mm-hmm. I remember he was talking about the tallest building in New Zealand, and how they don't care that it's not the biggest in the world. They only care that it's bigger than anything in Australia.
Yeah.
And then he says, but they like the top third of it is just a spike, which is cheating. It's like him putting a toothpick at the end of his dick and saying, "Cool, look at the size of that."
Yeah, I remember him talking about playing in Australia. It was like in Adelaide, I think. And how it was like 40 degrees. It's like, like it had been in the 30s or whatever. He's like, "Oh man, it's hot." And like, nah, mate, it's mild. Like then it got to 40 degrees. Like, is it hot yet? It's like, yeah, it's a bit hot. I was like, okay, that sounds like Oklahoma. 90s, you start sweating a little bit, and then finally once it breaks 100, like, okay, yeah, it's a bit warm, it's a bit hot. Okay, yeah. I loved it. Had some people from Arizona out one summer, and took them to Lake Tenkiller to go jump cliff diving, and going up the hill to the cliffs or whatever. They're panting like huskies, halfway up, not even. And I'm barely breaking a sweat. Me and my buddies who live here, and it's like, what's wrong with you guys? Like, it's hot. It's like, it's 80 degrees. Like, I thought you were from Phoenix. Does it get to like 120 or some bullshit? Like, yeah, but it's a dry heat. I was like, I don't know, man. 120 is hot no matter how you fucking slice it. Let's go.
But no, humidity does make it worse.
It doesn't help, but I was having fun at their expense.
It's like the where I live, the heat is made even worse by the fact that I live near the water, so it's like always humid as fuck down here.
See, like growing up in the humidity, I think I would hate the dry heat a lot more, just because like, you ever like go somewhere where it's really dry and just your nose starts bleeding? That's happened to me a couple times. It's like, I don't like that. That's not fun. That shouldn't happen.
I've been anywhere that wasn't extremely humid, to be honest. Like most of the places I've lived have been quite humid. Because I've always lived in like the same general area, so yeah, it's always been very humid.
My dad's dad was from Kansas, so like going up there and visiting, with relatives, or maybe going out to, I think we went to Colorado one time on a vacation, just dry as fuck all. And I come in the house and my nose is just bleeding. Just like, what happened to you? I was like, I took a breath. Yeah.
I think the
I walked outside. I didn't do shit. What's going on?
I think the problem with humidity is that when you sweat, it doesn't evaporate because like the air is so wet. So it makes you feel.
It just rolls.
Yeah. It makes you feel like sticky and gross on top of being too hot.
Yeah, when I visited a friend of mine in North Carolina, like you take like 3 steps out, and I'm just like, I'm already drenched in sweat, and I'm like, oh, I need to change my clothes again.
And Gabby says humidity and heat is far worse in her experience. So
I'll take your word for it.
there's a song like really famous down here. Like one of the lines is "and the humidity we breathe." It's like about how Australians live. Is like out on the patio we sit and the humidity we breathe. So it's not dry where people are. I'm sure the middle of the country is dry because that's like a little desert, but people tend to collect around the coasts.
Yeah, Mr. Yes. Ed Byrne is an Irish comedian who blocked me within a few months of me being on Twitter because I quoted one of his jokes.
That was so weird. Like, of all the things to block you for.
Right?
Are you still blocked to this day?
To this day, yes. I mean, I haven't checked in. I think I checked a couple months ago because I think me and Terry were curious.
Yeah.
Like, am I still? I don't know. But yeah, I finally found his account. It's like, yep, still blocked. That dude holds a fucking grudge, man. Like, I don't think I'd said anything objectionable on Twitter up to that point, at least.
Yeah, like, at least when Eric Idle blocked me, it was because I was directly criticizing him. Like, I can understand why he was like, fuck this guy, I'm just going to block him. Like, I wasn't, like, abusing him. I was just speaking poorly of him. But at least there was something that he could take offense to. You were just quoting his own joke to him.
Well, yeah. Well, to him and Alanis Morissette. And guess what? She didn't block me. Apparently, she can take a joke better than he can.
Oddly enough, the comedians seem to be the most sensitive group for what, contrary to all expectation.
Sad.
Ed Burns, the actor, he was also in a movie I liked as Confidence. If you haven't seen that one yet, Mr. Yes, I would recommend it. It's pretty decent.
It's Mr. S is saying Waltzing Matilda or the Australian anthem. If you mean what song has the lyric I was talking about, it's Sounds of Then by Gangajang. But if you mean which is better, then neither. Like, they're both shit songs.
See, that's another Ed Burns joke that I liked. He was talking about playing in Australia and hearing the Australian anthem. He's like, what is it again, Terry? Advance Australia Fair?
Yes.
Yeah. Advance Australia Fair. Fair. That's one step above poor. He's like, the Irish anthem was like, talking about the bravery of their soldiers, from back in like World War II or World War I or whatever. It's like, yeah, we're a neutral country full of brave soldiers, right?
Well, in our defence, Advance Australia Fair was written by a Scottish man, so maybe he wasn't feeling the Australian pride.
Yeah, wrong Ed Byrne, Mr. Yes. He's an Irish comedian, and he's very much alive.
I think we're confusing the poor guy.
I mean, it's not a terribly uncommon name, I grant you. But I mean, I think the dude's only like in his, I don't know, he's probably in his 40s by now. Late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Because he still looks like a
72.
fucking teenager when I first saw him in Pedantic and Whimsical.
72.
Okay, yeah, so he's...
Okay, so
oh, no, he'll be 50 this year then, wouldn't he?
About 8 years older than I am then. So, and Edward Cathal Byrne is apparently his name.
Okay.
So that's a weird middle name. I've never seen that one before.
Mm-hmm.
I try not to judge people on their names unless it sounds completely made up.
I try not to judge people too much out loud.
Now,
yep, that's the one. There you go, Mr. Yes.
Okay, yeah,
Yep.
Misty has finally found the right guy.
Yeah, I don't think the other.
Mr. Yes finally found the right guy. Well, I mean, you look long enough.
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that special too, pedantic and whimsical.
Hmm.
I mean, that was a solid set. Uh, enjoyed his bit about smoking, obviously, but his whole point of doing an encore was so he could go ahead and have another smoke. He can't smoke backstage, but while he's on stage, he can do it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I think that's like the same thing going on here in the States now too. Like if you're an actor or some kind of stage performer, you can smoke on stage, but most venues won't allow smoking elsewhere.
Probably.
So do you think a lot of people...
I blame Ed Byrne for introducing that idea to American audiences.
But do you think a lot of people became performers just so they could have an excuse to smoke?
Well, I mean, if I had to choose between sitting in the audience and watching somebody that I may or might not find funny, entertaining, what have you, or actually being the guy on stage just so I could have a few drags, I'd take the latter.
I mean,
also they're bullshit, and hopefully try and entertain somebody if I can have my smokes.
to be fair, if I'm at a comedy club and the guy...
That's pretty much what I'm doing right now. I'm just sitting down, and you can't see me.
To be fair, if I'm at a comedy club and the guy on stage isn't all that entertaining, or I don't really want to listen to him much, I have no problem stepping outside for a dart to miss that part of the show.
Well, I was just saying, if those were the two options, I'll step outside too if somebody's not entertaining me. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's like, hey, you can sit here and listen to this asshole, or you can get up there, replace him, and have a smoke.
Yeah, like
Okay.
if it's like a comedy show and there's multiple comedians.
Somebody get the sheep hook, man. Get him off stage.
Right.
Daddy needs a cigarette.
Time for an intermission? I think it's time for an intermission. It's time for an intermission, don't you think?
I don't know why, but seeing like the Canadian stuff in the scrolling text reminded me of the show You Can't Do That on Television, which is like the best thing Canada's ever made.
Well, I thought it'd be a nice little thing for the audience,
Yeah.
And I had a little fun with it.
But yeah, that was like...
I wonder, has Dave Foley been able to go back to Canada yet, or no?
No, I don't think he can ever go back.
Probably not.
I think as soon as he sets foot back in Canada, he's on the hook for more child support than he has the funds to pay.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about a national treasure of Canada. That dude is fucking hilarious.
Oh, he's brilliant.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We got some good.
And I think it's a crying shame he can't go home. I mean, I'm not complaining because we get to keep him. Like all the cool things that Canada actually makes.
Stop reminding me. But to be fair, you guys get some of our shit too, like Bieber and Carey.
Yeah.
Although
Carey. Oh, Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
I mean, he was cool there for a good long while.
I used to like Jim Carrey, like basically from say, what is it? What's it called? Ace Ventura through to Dumb and Dumber. Was probably that. Oh, Liar was probably the last one I liked of his.
It was all until he had to stick it into Jenny McCarthy.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that was the downfall.
Yeah.
I think Cable Guy actually. I think
Cable
that
Guy
might
was
have been the
pretty
last
decent.
one.
Yeah.
And they're making a sequel.
No.
Wait, what? No.
Yes.
I mean, I won't watch it. If they want to waste their money making sequels to movies, I will just not watch them. I don't care what they do with their money.
Oh, we activated the Google bot.
Do they really need a sequel to that? Like, didn't they pretty well wrap it all up in the first movie? What could they possibly do for a sequel to the Cable Guy?
I don't know. That's their responsibility to figure out.
Are they going to bring back Leslie Mann too? Because she's starting to get up there in years.
Well, no, she's too old to be in movies. Like women have a much short. Women have a much shorter shelf life. You can't be an actress if you're old unless you're really old. There's like you can be like young and beautiful or old and like grandmotherly. There's not really that much work for the middle of the spectrum.
Well, no, I'm just trying to figure out, like, I'm trying to figure out in my mind how they would go about making the script work with those characters, or how they would explain away the characters.
Okay, so it turns out it was an ad for Verizon.
Oh, okay.
So, okay.
Johnny, don't you fucking scare me like that again.
Oh no, that scared the shit out of me.
I don't care about that. Don't scare the shit out of me.
See, I'm very much, if they want to make it, I mean, have at it. I mean, I think it's a waste of money. But
Mr. Yes, to your point, Terry says well, J-Lo is doing a movie with Owen Wilson, and she's in her 50s. Yeah, who's going to watch it, though?
Right.
That's my point.
Allegedly, Gabby. Allegedly.
So they're doing a sequel of their remake to Dances with Wolves? That's cool.
Allegedly, yeah.
I mean,
I'm still trying to figure out how that made so much damn money.
I've given up on movies. I don't care what movie they make. I'm not going to watch it. Like, they're making a sequel to such and such. Okay. I mean, we don't need a sequel to most movies, but sure. Go for it.
Right.
I mean, if it's something like you're planning to have, to have like a trilogy from the outset or something like that, okay, fine. But like a one-off movie, do they really plan like John Wick to have 4 fucking movies, or do they say, hey, this first one did really well, get writing, we gotta cash these checks?
That was my experience with The Good Place. Is like the first season was like, that was good, but how the fuck do you continue the story from here? And it turns out they didn't know either. Because all the rest of the show was shit. But
I think a lot of shows are like that. They have like a really great idea for a show, and they have a good first season, or maybe they don't have a good first season. Maybe they get like really good like the second season. But a lot of times you'll have a good first season. It's like, all right, what do we do now? I don't know.
But without spoiling too much, there's a twist at the end of the first season that completely undermines the premise of the show, which should end the show. Like, you've undermined the premise for a really cool twist ending. Cool, but that's the end of the story. You don't have the same show anymore. But they're like, doesn't matter. Let's make more episodes anyway.
But there again, like Della and I, one of our favorite shows is Supernatural. Mm-hmm. And that was only planned for like 5 seasons originally, and they stretched it to 15.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the same with Buffy. Buffy was meant to end when she died, and then they're like, fuck, we want more money. Let's bring her back from the dead.
They stretched for a decade of just pulling shit out of their ass.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, what can we do now?
Right.
Because if you take like those first 5 seasons and you just stop there, that's still a damn good show.
Yeah, and they're still trying to stretch it out.
And the way they ended the season 5, because I think by then I was watching it like as it came out. Mm-hmm. I call it like the first couple of seasons, like first 2 or 3 seasons on like a TV marathon.
Right.
But I mean,
I was like, "Ooh, this is a good show, actually." I'll because they actually played them in order too.
Yeah.
Like over a weekend. And I was like, "Oh, okay. Like this is actually a decent enough show." Like, oh, this is on. Was it still the WB back then, or?
I don't know.
I think like when it finally ended, like it was the only show that was still on the network that was from back in like the WB days.
But I think
because now it's the CW.
Mm-hmm. The Simpsons has been bad for twice as long as it was good. at this
Yeah,
point.
but I mean, you can stretch longer with an animated show than you can a live action one. You know, aging and all that.
Yeah, I'm just saying that
Because
they,
like that show started, those dudes were in their early to mid 20s, and now they're in their 40s.
yeah, I'm just saying that if there's money to be made, there is no such thing as artistic integrity.
This is true.
No, they don't care that it makes no sense to make a sequel to the Cable Guy. They're like, you think people will watch it? Fuck, let's make one. Does it matter that the story won't make any sense? No.
Gabby brings up some other shows, you know, like Firefly. I did not see Firefly when it originally aired. I caught it on Netflix.
I always cop shit, but Firefly was massively overrated.
I enjoyed it, you know, like the casting and everything. But I mean,
See,
I think that was the big thing. The big draw for me was the cast, because he had Nathan
But, I mean-
Fillion and Alan Tudyk and oh shit, what's her name, Gina Torres.
But for me, like, Firefly was a good show, but people talk about it as if it was like divine inspiration, like gifted to humanity from the heavens, and like
Bro,
it wasn't that good. It was like
You
decent. It was
ever,
like, I enjoyed watching it, but it's not the holy grail of television.
you ever hear '90s kids talk about Kurt Cobain, Terry?
Oh, I mean,
Oof.
Nirvana's in the same category. They were good. they weren't the best thing that ever happened to music.
My stepson came down.
Again, I asked you, did you ever hear '90s kids talk about Kurt Cobain?
My stepson came down from where he lives now and we were doing last minute Christmas shopping, and I bought a set of drumsticks for my wife just as a gag gift.
It is either very early or very late to be doing Christmas shopping.
Agreed.
But this was around Christmas, so it was a while ago. And we went to the guitar shop that's here, and these couple of kids that came in shortly after we started looking around, and we kind of just looked at each other as they went immediately to where you can try out the guitars. And within 2 seconds, they started playing. One of them started playing Nirvana, and the other one started playing Foo Fighters. And everyone, like the people working there, me and my stepson, all just looked at each other and just started laughing because we all had the same thought. Like at the same time, it's just like, oh, now I get it. Like,
It would have been even funnier. Would have been even funnier if somebody had like pointed to the sign and it's like Wayne's World, like no stairway,
Denied.
bummer, yeah, denied, yeah.
It's no, I mean, I like the Foo Fighters. They're pretty good, but I mean, again, they're not like the best thing that's ever happened to music. I think people get pretty zealous in their support of things, which I don't really understand.
I mean, I enjoyed the music of both Nirvana and the Foo Fighters to an extent, but what I enjoy even more is hearing people with like the conspiracies about Nirvana.
Yeah,
You know, people swear up and down like, oh no, Courtney had him killed. It's like, meanwhile, like, you know, Dave Grohl is like the nice guy of rock and roll. I can just imagine him being like a secret serial killer. You know.
I'm not saying he did it, and he made it really well look like it was her.
I mean, he could be a mad genius for all we know.
but the simple fact is, there's only one song worth getting extremely zealous about, and that is the Donkey Kong rap. And there's only one video game worth getting extremely zealous about. Well, 3, and they're all in the Super Seducer series.
Amen, brother. Amen.
You know, I'm thinking like,
Well, that's never good.
it's a little late for this year, but maybe next year I'll get the girlfriend a raccoon for a gift.
Attaboy.
See what she does.
Attaboy.
That is a perfect gift. And remember to blame her because her fucking raccoon broke your stuff.
Exactly. Exactly. And don't forget to criticize her for not trading it.
Yeah, exactly. I got to say, the second game is by far the best of the three.
That's literally the only part of any of those games I remember watching Della play. He was like,
well,
giving a raccoon as a gift? What?
the first and third one were a bit too serious. Like, they had funny moments, but the second one was like actually trying to be funny. Mm-hmm. And it was very inconsistent. Like, half the levels were the best thing ever, and the other half were the worst thing ever. So, like, on aggregate, is like just an average. But because the highs are so high, and you can just like skip over the shit stages, it's easily the best in the series.
Oh yeah.
Like, Mahmoud is like a legend. He's like,
indeed.
We need more games just about him.
Right. We need a spin-off game series.
Yes. Super Mahmoud. Seducer. And
the sexy adventures of Mahmoud.
They made a Super Bernie Bros, so I'm pretty sure they can make a Super Mahmoud Bros.
Yeah, absolutely. And Michael, the Asian guy that sings opera.
Oh yes.
He is a standout as well. Those two are the two best stages in the entire series. And they're back to back.
Although, to be fair, Michael needs better taste in women.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's true, but that level was hilarious. Where yeah. Richard is saying a lot of Asians are seen as not sexual, so you should be a bit more sexual. So one of the options is to whip your dick out.
I mean, can't get much more sexual than that, am I right, fellas?
And then when it doesn't work, Michael's like, "You told me to be sexual. What? This didn't work." And no, Michael does not need better advice, Mr. Yes.
He's getting the best advice there is.
Yeah, he had advice from Richard. That is the ultimate in advice.
So I've got something else about, I guess, the Canadian trucker thing.
Oh.
I'm checking here. Okay.
Oh,
so apparently, I guess there was some kind of leak of the donor list for Give Send Go.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Ignorant sacks of shit on the internet trying to be fucking dicks to people for absolutely no reason that don't need it. Fuck right off.
But the other good one was Leo trying to crack onto the feminist. Leo's a pretty funny guy. He's just the whole stage dedicated to his stand-up shouldn't have been in the game, but the level where he was cracking onto the feminist was pretty fun.
Fair enough. That is absolutely true.
And he's actually one of the reasons I watch Sargon's channel, because he's got like a whole bunch of people working for him, and Leo is one of them. And so if you watch the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, sometimes Leo from Super Seducer is on the show as like one of the hosts, and it's awesome.
There you go. All right.
And this dude posted it on Twitter too, or like he's posted like a link to his website with parts of it.
Of course he did.
So he's a check mark. Yep.
Well, I mean, of course he's a check mark. And with great check mark comes great douchebag responsibilities.
I don't know why anyone would apply to have a check mark on Twitter. It just instantly labels you as not worth paying attention to.
Well, I mean, the original idea of it was, people who were, verifying that this was their account. But yeah, now it's just a...
If it was implemented based on that, I would see the value in it.
Yeah, but now it's just a sign that you are one of them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like when they take someone's check mark away because they basically said the wrong thing, do they stop being that person? Like when Milo Yiannopoulos got de-verified, did he become an imposter? Did he become a fake Milo that is, pretending to be the same guy? No. It's like, if they just kept it as it was intended, I would have no problem with it. But now it's basically a badge for retards.
He's not the Milo we thought he was when we gave him that check mark.
Somebody, I guess one of my mutuals retweeted I am Miles Chong. He had a screenshot of this other guy, Dean Blundell, and so I went to his Twitter account to see if it was legit. And it was like, yep, it's real. Okay, because I don't trust anything I see from Ian either.
No, I don't like Ian at all.
No, no.
I don't care. Fuck her.
Fuck them
So
all.
I do like one thing about Ian Miles Chong, and that is that he pissed Badger off.
Well, that's an easy thing to do.
How?
It is that. So Badger was supposed to have him on a stream, and he just never showed up.
Oh.
Like, it's a dick thing to do, but it did piss Badger off, so I can cut him some slack from that.
Like I remember a stream like Sinatra talking with I think it was I don't know if it was a AAA stream or what, but it's him and Drunkle talking and just kind of reminiscing about something. And he brought up the time they had Ian on as a guest on like Ghost Poo or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And like after the stream, like I guess he was under the impression that he was just part of the show now. Like, what?
Interesting.
Like, so I see you guys Mondays? Like, no.
Oh man,
yeah, I'd heard that. Gabby says, fun fact, if GoFundMe appropriates your donation for their biased agenda, don't request a refund through them directly. Just make a cancellation claim to your bank. GoFundMe will pay $10 to $15 processing fee.
I've got a better idea. Don't donate in the first place.
Yeah, that's kind of the boat I'm on.
Right.
I don't trust anything I see on the internet asking for money.
Fair.
I mean, I've donated to Kickstarters before, but only because they were like developers that I knew had done it before and like done it honestly and not rip people off. So like, okay, the chances are that they've done 5 completely honest, completely above board Kickstarters. The 6th one is not going to be the one where they're like, haha, screw you guys, I'm stealing your money. Probably not, anyway.
Apparently, this is not the first time GiveSendGo's had a breach in their security. So, if you are donating through them, just be aware. Your information could be getting put out there.
Yeah.
And Mr. Yes is completely correct. Ian Miles Chong is a grifter. He did used to be a leftist game journalist, and then he did switch to the right because there was more money in it. That is completely accurate.
Well, I only ever see him pop up on my timeline because somebody else, tweeted or retweeted or something. And if it does end up catching my eye, it's like, all right, I need to go verify this elsewhere. I'm not not just taking his word for it.
No.
Well, guys, we've come to the 2-hour mark, so time to wrap up the stream. But before we go, let's go around and see if anyone's got any parting thoughts they want to give out, starting with Camel.
Well, to quote the Golden Girls, thank you for being a friend.
All right. Attaboy. And we'll go in the clockwise fashion. Terry, what's up?
I do kind of want to go to the Holocaust Memorial just to see if there really are shower heads in the gift shop, because that would be awesome.
I know the one in DC has a pile of tiny shoes, so...
Guys, need I remind you, it's not my channel.
I'm stating the facts. The Holocaust Museum in DC has a pile of tiny shoes.
All right, and going darker into that tunnel, Johnny, what you got for us?
I don't know if you guys know, but there is going to be a horror seducer.
That got cancelled.
Yeah.
Oh, did it?
So basically, what happened is Richard had such a terrible time dealing with Steam and GOG and Epic and all the bullshit they put him through that he said, "Look, fuck it, I'm not doing games anymore."
Yeah. If someone wants to create it on their own and maybe ask him for like, suggestions, tips, or pointers,
Yeah. He's willing to work behind the scenes to help other people make the game if they want to, but he won't be directly involved.
Exactly.
Did you guys see that clip of the game going around with the dude peeling somebody's dead face off?
Yeah, I saw that.
What game is that? Does anybody know?
Martha is dead.
Okay. Is that going to be like on PlayStation or
I don't know.
PC? What?
Well, it looks like it might be a Steam game because the prompts that pop up on the screen. The
mouse, yeah.
That I think are
it's
mouse.
on Steam. It is on Steam.
Oh, okay.
So,
might have to check into that because I just saw people reacting to it. It's like, okay, well,
I'll
now
put the
I'm
link in
curious.
chat. I'll put the link in chat so anyone who wants to can check it out.
There we go.
It's like, if anything else, it's just good marketing, so people freak out about it.
Yeah.
And while Terry's doing that, I'll go ahead with my usual closing. Thank you guys for coming out tonight. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Excuse me. Join us tomorrow night when Quiz is hosting, as per usual. And, of course, with Quiz hosting, be sure to keep an eye out on both Discord and or Twitter to know when the link for the show is going to be. He does tend to go earlier than most of the other hosts, so definitely want to keep an eye out if the show is something you're looking forward to. It's always a good time with the painting stream, so be sure to tune in for that. Otherwise, I will see you guys next week. And till then, have fun, guys. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye, everybody.